Good evening. I'm Felix Lubezki, and welcome back to SL Tonight Presents Tales That Terrify. We're currently here on location at Witches Center and Cafe, and tonight we have a very special double feature built around elegant, twisty suspense with a supernatural edge. First, we dive into John Collier's masterful short story, The Lady on the Grave, a seductive tale of obsession, beauty, and something ancient and dangerous riding through the Irish mist. Then we follow it with a rare public domain episode of the original Alfred Hitchcock Presents The Cheney Vase, a clever con artist thriller with Darren McGavin at the slickest and a twist that rewards close attention. Two stories, two elegant traps, one night of sophisticated terror. Dim the lights, listen for hooves in the fog, and remember, not every beautiful stranger or priceless heirloom is what it seems. First up, Lady on the Grave by John Collier. Ringwood was the last of an Anglo-Irish family which had played the devil in County Clare for a matter of 3 centuries. At last all their big houses were sold up or burned down by the long-suffering Irish, and of all their thousands of acres not a single foot remained. Ringwood, however, had a few hundred a year of his own, and if the family estates had vanished, he at least inherited the family instinct, which prompted him to regard all Ireland as his domain, and to rejoice in its abundance of horses, foxes, salmon, game, and girls. In pursuit of these delights, Ringwood ranged and roved from Donegal to Wexford through all the seasons of the year. There were not many hunts he had not led at some time or other on a borrowed mount, nor many bridges he had not leaned over through half a May morning, nor many inn parlors where he had not snored away a wet winter afternoon in front of the fire. He had an intimate by the name of Bates, who was another of the same breed and the same kidney. Bates was equally long and lean, and equally hard up, and he had the same wind-flushed bony face, the same shabby arrogance, and the same signorial approach to little girls in the cottages of Cowshire. Neither of these blades ever wrote a letter, but each generally knew where the other was to be found. The ticket collector, respectfully blind as he snipped Ringwood's third-class ticket in a first-class compartment, would mention that Mr. Bates had traveled that way only last Tuesday, stopping off at Kilgurlin for a week or two after the snap. The chambermaid, coy in the clammy bedroom of a fishing inn, would find time to tell Bates that Ringwood had gone on up to Lough Corrib for a go at the pipe. Policemen, priests, bagmen, gamekeepers, even the tinkers on the road would pass on this verbal patron. Then, if it seemed his friend was on to a good thing, the other would pack up his battered kit bag, put rods and guns into their cases, and drift off to join in the sport. So it happened that one winter afternoon, when Ringwood was strolling back from a singularly blank day on the bog of Ballineary, he was hailed by a one-eyed horse dealer of his acquaintance, who came trotting by in a jig, as people do in Ireland. This worthy told our friend that he had just come down from Galway, where he had seen Mr. Bates, who was on his way to a village called Knockberry, and who had told him very particularly to mention it to Mr. Ringwood if he came across him. Ringwood turned his message over in his mind and noted that it was a very particular, and that no mention was made as to whether it was fishing or shooting his friend was engaged in, or whether he had met with some Croesus who had a string of hunters that he was prepared to lend. He certainly would have put a name to it if it was anything of that sort. I'll bet my life it's a pair of sisters he's got on a track of. It must be. At this thought, he grinned from the tip of his long nose like a fox, and he lost no time in packing his bag and setting off for this place, Knockberry, where he had never visited before in all his roving up and down the country in pursuit of fur, feather, and girls. He found it was a long way off the beaten track, and a very quiet place when he got to it. There was the usual low, bleak hills all around, and a river running along the valley, and the usual ruined tower up on a slight rise, girdled by a straggly wood and approached by the remains of an avenue. The village itself was like many another, a few groups of shabby cottages, a decaying mill, half a dozen beer shops, and one inn at which a gentleman, hardened to rural cookery, might conceivably put up. Ringwood's hired car deposited him there, and he strode in and found the landlady in the kitchen and asked for his friend Mr. Bates. "Why, sure, your honor," said the landlady. "The gentleman's staying here. At least, he is so to speak, and then now he isn't." "How's that?" said Ringwood. "His bag's here," said the landlady, "and his things are here, and my grandest room taken up with them. So I have another every bit as good, and himself staying in the house best part of a week. But the day before yesterday he went out for a bit of constitutional, and would you believe it, sir? We've seen neither hide nor hair of him since." "He'll be back," said Ringwood. "Show me a room, and I'll stay here and wait for him." Accordingly, he set in and waited all the evening. The Bates failed to appear. However, that sort of thing bothers no one in Ireland, and Ringwood's only impatience was in connection with a pair of sisters whose acquaintance he was extremely anxious to make. During the next day or two, he employed his time in strolling up or down all the lanes and bypaths in the neighborhood, in hopes of discovering these beauties, or else some other. He was not particular as to which it should be, but on the whole he would prefer a cottage girl, because he had no wish to waste time on elaborate approaches. It was on the second afternoon, just as the early dusk was falling, that he was about a mile outside the village, and he met a straggle of muddy cows coming along the road, and a girl driving. A friend took a look at this girl and stopped dead in his tracks, grinning more like a fox than ever. This girl was still a child in her teens, and her bare legs were spattered with mud and scratched by brambles, but she was so pretty that the signal blood of all the Ringwood boiled in the veins of their last descendant, and he felt an overmastering desire for a cup of milk. He therefore waited a minute or two, and then followed leisurely along the lane, meaning to turn in as soon as he saw the buyer, begged the favor of this innocent refreshment, and perhaps a little conversation for the bargain. They say, though, that blessings never come singly, any more than misfortune. As Ringwood followed his charmer, swearing to himself that there couldn't be such another in the whole county, he heard the fall of horses' hooves, and looked up, and there, approaching him at a walking pace, was a gray horse, which must have turned in from some bypath or other, because there certainly had been no horse in sight a moment before. A gray horse is no great matter, especially when one is so urgently in need of a cup of milk, but this gray horse differed from all the others of its species, color, and few respects. First, it was no sort of horse at all, neither hack nor hunter, and it picked up its feet in a queer way, and yet it had an arch to its neck, and a small head, and a wide nostril that were not entirely without distinction. And second, and this distracted Ringwood from all curiosity as to breed and bloodline, this gray horse carried on its back a girl who was obviously and certainly the most beautiful girl he had ever seen in his life. Ringwood looked at her, and as she came slowly through the dusk, she raised her eyes and looked at Ringwood. He at once forgot the little girl with the cows. In fact, he forgot everything else in the world. The horse came nearer, and still the girl looked, and Ringwood looked, and it was not a mere exchange of glances. It was a wooing and a marriage, all complete and perfect in a mingling of the eyes. Next moment, the horse had carried her past him, and quickening its pace a little, it left him standing on the road. He could hardly run after it or shout. In any case, he was too overcome to do anything but stand and stare. He watched the horse and rider go on through the wintry twilight, and he saw her turn in at a broken gateway just a little way along the road. Just as she passed through, she turned her head and whistled, and Ringwood noted that her dog had stopped by him and was sniffing about his legs. For a moment he thought it was a smallish wolfhound, but then he saw it was just a tall, lean, hairy lurcher. He watched it run limply after her with its tail down, and it struck him that the poor creature had had an appalling thrashing not so long ago. He had noticed the marks where the hair was thin on its ribs. However, he had little thought to spare for the dog. As soon as he'd gotten over his first excitement, he moved on in the direction of the gateway. The girl was already out of sight when he got there, but he recognized the neglected avenue which led up to the battered tower on the shoulder of the hill. Ringwood thought that was enough for the day, so made his way back to the inn. Bates was still absent, but that was just as well. Ringwood wanted the evening to himself in order to work out a plan of campaign. That horse never cost 2 10-pound notes of anybody's money, said he to himself, so she's not so rich. So much the better. Besides, she wasn't dressed up much. I don't know what she had on, sort of cloak or something. Nothing out of Bond Street, anyway. And it lives in that old tower. I should have thought it was all tumbled down. Still, I suppose there's a room or two left at the bottom. Poverty Hall. One of the old school, blue blood, no money, pining away in this godforsaken hole, miles away from everybody. Probably she doesn't see a man from one year into another. No wonder she gave me a look. God, if I was sure she was there by herself, I wouldn't need much of an introduction. Still, there might be a father or a brother or somebody. Never mind, I'll manage it. When the landlady brought in the lamp, tell me, said he, who's the young lady who rides the cobby-looking, old-fashioned looking gray? Young lady, sir, said the landlady doubtfully. On a gray? Yes. She passed me in the lane up there. She turned in on the old avenue going up to the tower. Oh, Mary bless and keep you, said the good woman. That's the beautiful Murrow lady you must have seen. Murrow? Said he. Is that the name? Well, well, well. That's a fine old name in the West here. It is so indeed, said the landlady, for they were kings and queens in the Connaught before the Saxon came. And herself, sir, has the face of a queen, they tell me. You're right, said Ringwood. Perhaps you'll bring me in the whiskey and water, Miss Doyle, and I shall be comforted. He had an impulse to ask if the beautiful Miss Morrow had anything in the shape of a father or brother in the tower, but his principle was least said, soonest mended, especially in little affairs of this sort. So he sat by the fire, recapturing and savoring the look the girl had given him, and he decided he needed only the barest excuse to defend himself in the tower. Ringwood had never any shortage of excuses, so the next afternoon he spruced himself up and set out in the direction of the old avenue. He turned in at the gate and went along under the forlorn and dripping trees, which were so ivied and overgrown that the darkness was already thickening under them. He looked ahead for a sight of the tower, but the avenue took a turn at the end, and it was still hidden among the equestrian trees. Just as he got to the end, he saw someone standing there, and he looked again, and it was the girl herself.
We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. SL tonight, Tales That Terrify returns. Please stand by. Looking for stories that'll keep you up at night? SL Tonight presents 3 terrifying collections straight from the vault. Tales That Terrify, on record. Tales from the Vault and Papers from the Vault. Real horror, real chaos, real entertainment. Available now. Don't sleep on these, or you might not sleep at all. Buy my book! He's right, you know? And then just touch me till I can get my perfect fix.
Push me and then just touch me
Till I can get my perfect fix. Push me and then just touch me till I can get my perfect fix.
Push me and then just touch me.
Give me that power fix. She's cranking it up, turning heads tonight. Tool spinning wild under neon light. Good girl energy, can't get enough. One touch and she's calling your bluff. Hey, welcome to the party. You know the one. Where the lights are low, the stories are twisted, and the nightmares feel strangely welcome. This is SL Tonight. We are where the nightmares go. Every week we bring you the weird, the creepy, the hilarious, and the forgotten. All the stuff that makes the dark a little more fun. If you're enjoying the show, come hang out longer. Grab some of our restored comics and special books on Ko-Fi. They make great late night reading. So pull up a chair or a coffin. The night's just getting started. SL Tonight. We are where the nightmares go. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. SL Tonight, Tales that Terrify returns. Please stand by and prepare for the next terrifying tale.
Standing as if she was waiting for him. "Good afternoon, Miss Morrow," said he, as soon as he had gotten into earshot. "Hope I'm not intruding. The fact is, I think I had the pleasure of meeting a relation of yours down in the court only last month." By this time he had gotten close enough to see the look in her eyes again, and all this nonsense died away in his mouth, for this was something beyond any nonsense of that sort. "I thought you'd come," said she. "My God," said he, "I had to. Tell me, are you all by yourself here?" "All by myself," said she, and she put out her hand as if to lead him along with her. Ringwood, blessing his lucky stars, was about to take it, when her lean dog bounded between them and nearly knocked him over. "Down!" cried she, lifting her hand. "Get back!" The dog cowered and whimpered, and slunk behind her, creeping almost on its belly. "He's not a dog to be trusted." "He's all right," said Ringwood. "He looks a knowing old fellow. I like orchards. Clever dogs. What, are you trying to talk to me, old boy?" Ringwood always paid a compliment to a lady's dog, and in fact the creature really was whining and whimpering in the most extraordinary fashion. "Be quiet," said the girl, raising her hand again, and the dog was silent. "A cur," she said to Ringwood. "Did you come here to sing the praises of a half-bred cur?" With that she gave him her eyes again, and he forgot the wretched dog. She gave him her hand, and this time he took it, and they walked towards the tower. Ringwood was in the seventh heaven. "What luck," thought he. "I might at this moment be fondling that little farm wench in some damp, smelly cowshed, and 10 to 1 she'd be sniveling and crying and running home to tell her man. This is something different." At that moment the girl pushed open a heavy door, and bidding the dog lie down, she led our friend through a wide, bare, stone-flagged hall and into a small vaulted room, which certainly had no resemblance to a cowshed, except perhaps it smelt a little damp and moldy, as these old stone places so often do. All the same, there were logs burning on the open hearth, and a broad, low couch before the fireplace. For the rest, the room was furnished with the greatest simplicity, and very much in the antique style. A touch of the Kathleen Neholin, thought Ringwood. Well, well, sitting in the Celtic twilight, dreaming of love, certainly doesn't make much bones about it. The girl sat down on the couch and motioned him down beside her. Neither of them said anything. There was no sound but the wind outside, and the dog scratching and whimpering timidly at the door of the chamber. At last the girl spoke. "You are the Saxon," she said gravely. "Don't hold it against me," said Ringwood. "My people came here in 1656. Of course, that's yesterday to Gaelic league, but still I think we can say we had a stake in the country. Yes, to its heart. Is it politics we're going to talk?" putting an Irish turn to his tongue. "You and I sitting here in the firelight?" "It's love you'd rather be talking of," said she with a smile. "But you're the man to make a blunder and mockery of poor girls of Irish." "You misjudge me entirely," said Ringwood. "I'm the man to live alone and sorrowful, waiting for the one love, though it seems something beyond hoping for." "Yes, but yesterday you were looking at one of the Connell girls as she drove her crying along the lane." "Looking at her? I'll go so far as to say I did. But when I saw you, I forgot her entirely." "That was my wish," said she, giving him both her hands. "Will you stay with me here?" "Ah, that I will," cried he in a rapture. "Always?" she said. "Always," cried Ringwood. "Always and forever." For he felt it better to be guilty of a slight exaggeration than to be lacking courtesy to a lady. But as he spoke, she fixed her eyes on him, looking so much as if she believed them that he positively believed himself. "Ah," he cried, "you bewitched me!" And he took her in his arms. He pressed his lips to hers, and at once he was over the brink. Usually he prided himself on being a pretty cool hand, but this was an intoxication too strong for him. His mind seemed to dissolve in sweetness and fire, and at last the fire was gone, and his senses went with it. As they failed, he heard her say, "Forever, forever," and then everything was gone, and he fell asleep. He must have slept some time. It seemed he was awakened by the heavy opening and closing of the door. For a moment he was all confused and hardly knew where he was. The room was now quite dark, and the fire had sunk to a dim glow. He blinked, took his ears, trying to shake some sense into his head. Suddenly he heard Bates talking to him, muttering as if he too was half asleep, or half drunk more likely. "You would come here. I tried hard enough to stop you." "Hello," said Ringwood, thinking he must have dozed off by the fire in the inn parlor. "Bates? God, I must have slept heavy. I feel queer. Damn it. So it was all a dream. Strike a light, old boy. It must be late. I'll yell for supper." "Don't, for heaven's sake," said Bates, in his altered voice. "Don't yell, she'll thrash us if you do." "What's that?" said Ringwood. "Thrash us? What the hell are you talking about?" At that moment a log rolled on the hearth, and a little flame flickered up, and he saw his long and hairy forelegs, and he knew. And now for the second half of tonight's double feature. From the golden age of television suspense, here is a rare public domain episode of the original Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Cheney Vase. The fired museum curator with a taste for expensive antiques sets his sights on a trusting elderly invalid and a priceless family heirloom. But as with all good Hitchcock stories, things are not quite what they seem. Sit back and enjoy the master at work.
Good evening. I was just about to send greetings to an old friend. I'm sure modern civilized methods of homicide are much more efficient, but I don't care for them. I abhor violence. That is why on this program we use stabbings, shooting, and garrotings only when they are absolutely essential to the plot, or when the whim strikes us. Tonight's play begins in a museum, and the title is The Cheney Vase. That's all I intend to tell you. You'll have to figure the rest out for yourselves. And now our sponsor wishes to say a few words designed to send you rushing out immediately to buy his products. But please endeavor to restrain yourselves. I don't want you to miss our story.
I don't intend to discuss it any further. I want you to leave the museum this afternoon.
Mr. Collier, the work I did here as your assistant could have been done by a reasonably intelligent child. Leaving won't be exactly a hardship. However, you're rather conveniently forgetting my severance pay.
If you want to make an issue with the money, Lyle, I'll be glad to take it up with the board. I'm prepared to go completely into your record during the 3 months you've been here. Your inability to arrive even approximately on time. The 4 days off last month with no reason whatsoever.
It was spring, Mr. Collier, though I doubt whether you were aware of that.
I want you out of this building by 3 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
How did it go, Lyle?
It went, and so shall I.
Oh, no. What are you going to do?
You got me this job. You got any other ideas?
Let me go. Mr. Endicott?
Miss Cheney, no one told me you were in the museum.
Well, Francis and I just arrived.
Well, now, aren't you looking chipper, if I may say so?
Well, of course you may say so. Everyone lies to me and spoils me. I'd be rather put out if they didn't. But the only thing chipper about my appearance is perhaps my suit. And if you'd known me longer, Mr. Endicott, you'd know that that's almost as old as you are.
Well, it's still very handsome, and so is its owner. But now, look here, doesn't this add a touch of color?
Well, now.
There we go.
That's very thoughtful of you, Mr. Endicott. Thank you.
Now, you're not going to run off with one of the museum's treasures in that box, are you?
No, this is my own last little effort. Francis, why don't you run along and do your errands? I shall need you for a while.
Well, now, you know, it's really very good. Yes, you know, you've cut this in here beautifully. Yeah.
Well, of course, it's only a hobby, but at least no one can say that I completely waste my time rattling around in that old house out in the country. Oh, there you are, Herbert.
Good afternoon, Martha. What a nice surprise. I didn't expect you till Wednesday.
Well, it was the only day I could come.
Have you taken care of that matter, as I asked you to?
Oh, yes, I'll take care of that immediately, Mr. Collier. Well, Miss Cheney, it was so nice to see you again.
Goodbye, Mr. Endicott.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, what did you want to see me about?
Well, Martha, I'm leaving for the coast.
Oh, are you really?
Uh-huh. Day after tomorrow. Martha, it will be a wonderful send-off for my trip if I could inform the Board of Trustees that at long last, I've arranged to purchase the Cheney Vase.
Oh, no, you're not still at it. No, Herbert. You know I could never sell it. It was the last thing of my father's, and I'm going to keep it as long as I live.
Oh, but...
And that's going to be a long, long time.
But, Martha, you always promised.
No, Herbert. That's fine. Well, so you're leaving for the coast?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Francis is leaving me, too. So I have to manage without Francis. And this will probably be my last visit for a while. So, act like a curator, Herbert. I'd like to see those Chinese figurines.
No explanation, no nothing. He just fired you. Oh, darling, I'm sick. What is it with that? Do we just have the unlucky touch? Other people get married and save money and have babies and think that this is the best of all possible worlds.
Why not just once? Just once can something work out right for me.
Will they let you stay in your apartment till I get my check?
I'm not going to take any more money from you. Take a letter, Miss Waring.
What?
A recommendation. At least you can type one, I think, even if our distinguished curator won't feel obliged to.
What'll I say?
Just write a nice, kind, enthusiastic letter. Lyle Endicott worked here at the Manhattan Museum of Art as my assistant until May 12th. During which time, he turned out to be a very dependable worker. I hope you don't mind my coming to you.
Well, but you see, I'm in no position financially to engage someone like you.
Well, there could be other compensations in my case. You see, I could continue my research here in your wonderful library. Oh, yeah, may I?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Endicott.
Oh, call me Lyle.
Well,
Well, now, look, if I'm going to be taking care of you, you can hardly go around calling me Mr., now, can you?
It's very kind of you and Herbert to think of me. But you know that when Francis leaves, there'll be just Bella the cook. And I'm helpless. Since my illness last year, I can't get around at all.
Well, then you do need a man around the house. Now, don't you?
Well, would you be willing to put it on a trial basis? Say, 1 month.
Oh, of course. Well, I know that I won't change my mind.
Well, then let's seal the bargain. Lyle.
Like another cup of tea, dear?
Sitting here gossiping with you isn't going to get any work done. And I ought to have been in my studio an hour ago.
Oh, well, then we certainly can't let talent go to waste now, can we? Here we go. Whee!
Oh, no.
There
Oh, Lyle.
we
Oh, no. Oh, please. Oh.
Whoa! you go right on upstairs then. And get to work, and I'll make all the arrangements about lunch.
Oh, now you're not supposed to bother about things like that.
Well, why not? I enjoy doing things for you. There we go.
Oh, Lyle. Put those somewhere. I'll answer them later.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Bella, would you clear up Miss Cheney's tea things, please?
Yes, sir. But, Bella, it isn't important, one cup. And you so rarely break anything.
Miss Cheney, I didn't break it.
Well, now, as Mr. Endicott said, it wasn't broken when I had my tea from it, and you're the only one who's touched the tray since.
Well, if you break one of Miss Cheney's cups, there's no harm in admitting it. But don't try to blame someone else.
Are you calling me a liar, sir?
I'm merely saying that when one as old as you are, Bella, and is prone to breaking
Bella,
things.
I know you're tired. Now, you've had too much to do since Francis left. So, why don't you go and lie down for a little while?
Never thought the time would come you wouldn't believe me, Miss Cheney. I can see I'm not wanted in this house.
Bella, wait. Bella. I'm afraid we hurt her feelings.
I hated having to worry you about this, but... Well, some of the things that have gone on lately...
Bella has been with me for 18, well, almost 20 years. I couldn't possibly do without her. I hope she'll stay with me as long as I live.
I just thought perhaps, well, she might need a little vacation. Why don't you tell her to take a couple of weeks off? I'm sure I can take care of you. Well, so this is where the artist creates her masterpiece.
Oh, well, it's a good place for work. It's quiet, it's soundproof. When the elevator's downstairs, I feel cut off from the rest of the world.
You keep the vase up here?
What vase?
With the vase. There's only one, isn't there?
I don't want to talk about... I don't want to talk about it. Everybody's always asking me about it. I thought you'd be different from the rest,
Well,
Lyle.
it seems a shame to keep such a beautiful work of art hidden away when no one can appreciate it.
It is my vase, and I will do what I like with it. Everybody is always telling me what I have to do.
Martha, what's the matter? Can I help you?
I think if you don't mind, Lyle, I'd like to be alone for a while, please. And just rest quietly.
Oh, no. No, I wouldn't think of leaving you now. You need someone to take care of you. Well, good morning, Martha. How are we feeling today?
Well, I'm sure I'm much better.
Good.
I thought maybe I could go out for a little while into the air. You know, I haven't been out of the house for 3 weeks.
Well, now, why don't you go upstairs and try and do a little work? Now, you know how you missed your sculpting.
Do you think I could?
Why, of course. Why, you were showing just wonderful work before this little setback of yours. Why, that last head you did showed tremendous improvement. Here we go. Up we go. That's right. Hold tight. There now. Why, we'll just have a beautiful one-woman show for you in no time at all. Now, sit right down. That's right. There we go. There we are. Now.
I've got to talk to you, Mr. Endicott.
Later, Ruby. But later.
Lyle,
What?
I don't like that maid. When are you going to get rid of her?
Well, as soon as I can find someone who'll come all the way out here.
Well, Bella'll be back soon from her vacation.
Vacation? Well, Martha, don't tell me you've forgotten already that Bella wrote you.
Bella wrote me.
Well, yes.
When? Really? Lyle?
Martha, she wrote you in August, saying that it was too much work and that she couldn't come back. Don't you remember, Martha?
Well, I know I get confused sometimes, but this is different.
I know. That's why I've been so very worried about you.
Well, you've been wonderful, Lyle. I don't know why you put up with this silly old woman.
But I do worry. It's wrong.
Why is it wrong? She's got that vase hidden away somewhere. What good's it doing her?
I know, Lyle, but she's a helpless old woman. I do wish you'd give up the idea.
Maybe Collier might know where it is.
I'm sure he doesn't.
Are you positive he doesn't?
Yes.
Well, she's got it hidden away in that house somewhere. I may have to strangle her, but I'll get it. Oh. Darling?
Hmm?
Who's Max Reisenweber?
He's one of the most important art collectors in Europe. He's written in the museum a couple of times. Collier seems to think he's a bit shady.
Oh?
Why do you ask?
Well done.
And if it is a genuine Cheney vase, I may be induced to go as high as 45,000, payable in dollars or marks at Frankfurt.
Think of what we could do with all that money. We'd go to Europe, we could have cars, clothes. Where's the book with the picture of the vase in it? Yeah. The Cheney vase is comparatively small, being 8 inches high, made of porous sodaphene. It bears a simple crimson design on a lustrous natural background. It was discovered by the archaeologist William Cheney in 1881.
What now?
I think you might start learning German and arrange about your passport. I think we ought to deliver it to that very nice Mr. Reisenweber in person.
Who's that?
Well, I figured you'd have been up here for such a time, maybe a cup of tea would taste good. Nobody told me. I just figured.
Well, now, that's very kind. Put it on the table. I don't remember your name, my dear.
Ruby Boynton.
Ruby. Where is Mr. Endicott?
Oh, I don't know. Downstairs somewhere, I guess.
Ruby. I want you to help me. I've got to get out of here, and he won't let me. He won't let me see anyone. He's done something to the telephone, and I can't call anyone. You've got to help me. Now, this is to my attorney. I want you to take it and make sure that he gets it. Will you, please? Please. Oh, thank you. Oh.
Oh, allow me, dear. Why didn't you ring?
Well, I don't think I can get what I want in this house anymore.
Oh, Martha. You know that everything I do here is for you. Why, I feel like almost one of the family.
Lyle, this arrangement of ours, it hasn't worked out. I want you to go.
Why, Martha, I'd feel guilty if I left you now. Well, you know you're not yourself. You're not responsible.
Well, I know I haven't been myself recently. But I'm beginning to see everything very clearly now.
Well, how can you say that, Martha, when you have such delusions? When you can write such fantastic letters like this? Martha, really?
Hello?
Hello, darling. Listen, I'm afraid I got some bad news. I think our little scheme's down the drain. The man from a bank is just here, and it seems like the Cheney Vase is in the safe deposit box down there. Well, good evening, darling. How about a drink? I've had a bad day. Why can't just once, something work out right for us? And now she says she needs a rest and she wants to go off somewhere with me for a month.
Where are you going?
Well, her sister's got a place up in Maine. I don't know, we'll be stuck up there in the North Woods with no telephone, or I won't even be able to...
Stop it, Lyle. I'm sick to death of your lying. I'm sick of whatever you're doing to that poor woman.
What are you talking about?
When you made application for your passport, you gave the museum as your business address. I did a little checking, and suddenly everything began to fall into place. The way you've been avoiding me. That cock and bull story about the vase being in a bank somewhere. And now you're going off to Maine.
All right, I'll level with you. You're right, I do consider you and your morality excess baggage. But since I'm off to Frankfurt tonight at 8:30...
What?
Oh, yeah. It's been delightful, Pamela, every minute of it. I just have time to go over and pick up the little vase from Miss Cheney's and be off. And I wouldn't go to the police if I were you. That letter of recommendation you wrote implicates you just as much as me.
Hello? Yes, Mr. Collier.
I'm at the station. I hate to bother you, but I'm a mountain of work. I wanted you to come around to the museum tomorrow, even though it is Saturday.
Yes. Yes, I think so.
Fine. I'll tell you about the trip tomorrow.
Mr. Collier, go to Mrs. Cheney's at once. It's important. He'll be there by 6. You haven't got time.
It's almost 5 now. It'll take him an hour to get there from the station. I'll still have time.
Mr. Endicott. That one might be the original. And I wouldn't try to make me tell you which one it is. I'm a poor deluded old woman, probably mad, you know. I wouldn't be able to tell one from the other. You know, they're really rather good, those copies. I'd probably be able to sell them for a great deal of money.
And so another American primitive was born. Thinking our audience might be interested in obtaining a memento of tonight's story, we asked Grandma Cheney to whip up a few thousand more vases. And we're prepared to make an amazing offer on a strictly first-come, first-served basis. Listen closely. This will not be repeated. If you wish one of these lovely vases, just send us your name and address together with $45,000 in cash. Please do not send stamps or coins. And now our sponsor wishes to tell of an equally amazing opportunity for your benefit, after which I'll be back. My, they did go fast, didn't they? Next week we shall return. Please don't be alarmed. Next week we shall return with another story. Good night.
And that was our double feature for episode 14 of Tales that Terrify. John Collier's elegant supernatural seduction and Lady on the Grey, paired with Hitchcock's sly con artist thriller, The Cheney Vase. 2 stories about desire, deception, and the dangers of getting exactly what you want. Collier gives us misty iris mystery and ancient forces. Hitchcock gives us slick manipulation and a perfectly timed twist. Together they remind us that beauty and valuable vases can hide very sharp teeth. If tonight's double feature left you wary of beautiful strangers on gray horses, or suddenly suspicious of friendly antique collectors, drop your thoughts in the comments, which have hit you harder. Thanks for joining us for SL Tonight. I'm Felix Lubezki. I'll see you again soon for the next chapter in Series 3 of Tales that Terrify, The Waxwork by A.M. Barrage. Until then, ride carefully to the nest. Keep an eye on those family heirlooms. Good night.